Are Trump voters racist? Whoa! Before everyone gets into running to the comments mode, I need you to ask yourself, how much does it matter who you vote for? When you put your support into a person at the ballot box, can that decision specifically identify your moral or ethical quality? And before you run straight to the comments, I'm going to leave a note at the end to make sure you're listening, so make sure you watch all of this before you comment. There's been a shift in the way that politics have been perceived within the public, where we have started to pair specific moral and ethical values to the party which you support. And let me be very clear. I don't subscribe to party politics. But one of the problems with ascribing morality this way is that it is inherently unscientific, in the sense that choosing one side or the other is equal parts wholly aligned with a set of objective values, while also being applied through partiality, depending on which side you claim. This is to say that you can't say 100% that a person who votes a certain way carries specific values, because that very person could do the same for you with the same values and land at the same conclusion. But there is a big but in there, and it does not lie. Politics are tied to action, and those actions do have inherent moralistic value. The problem is whether the people voting for that action are informed as to the nature of those actions and their repercussions, or even just capable of thinking along that line of thinking. And this is where the shift comes in. As we continue into the heart of the information era, we have become more adept at understanding how our voting informs second and third order actions, ones that can have outcomes that are in one way or another problematic. Translation: the days of being a single issue voter no longer exist, because everyone should know better than to think that a politician only represents that one issue you care about. This is probably why you have an uncle or grandma or anyone in between who would complain that it didn't used to matter who you voted for, because it was just a choice on how to solve the issues, and you voted with your heart. None of this "you're a racist for trying to solve a problem" shit. But this is also a lie, because the complexity of the choice has always been there. When people were voting for Jim Crow politicians, they weren't just voting on the issue they cared about. They were voting to do direct harm to people they didn't know. But the level of indoctrination they had at that time allowed them to pretend that it was a choice between one guy's solution and another guy's solution, and none of the other stuff mattered to them, so it wasn't an issue. So to circle this wagon back around, is it inherently racist to vote for a racist candidate? Well, yes. Being a racist isn't always about the intent, it's about the outcome. If you unintentionally work to support a hierarchy that places one race above all the others, you still have done a racism. And if this prescription seems unfair, ask yourself, if you had a candidate who ran on the platform of "we're catapulting kids," but also had a banger plan to make healthcare universally free and functional, and you voted for them based on their healthcare plan, does that make you a child killer? Well, no, because they never said they were killing the kids, right? They're just catapulting them, right? And that could really mean anything. So when people start pointing out that double language, and you still vote that way, does that make you a child killer? Or what about when the bodies start piling up after one day of the candidate being in office? Does that make you a child killer? You are the sum of your actions, and the actions of those who you support. But hey, I love hearing from you guys, so if you made it this far, tell me about the first time you voted. And remember, the real racist voters are the friends you met along the way.